Hey, what's going on? It's DRGONZOOBOOGIE here again, and this is going to be my 2014 Christmas special. And in this video, I was going to show you guys and talk about what are some of my favorite Christmas horror movies, and then I was going to go through what are some of my favorite Christmas movies in general, and then last but not least, I was going to talk about what I think are some of my favorite and some of the best Christmas specials ever, like TV specials and stuff like that. And I did a similar video to this last year where I went through the same topics and talked about basically the same movies. So I figured this year I was going to try to do something a little bit different, and I was going to have a special guest in this video, and I was going to have Santa Claus actually help me rate each one of these movies. Isn't that right, Santa? Alrighty, so first off, I was going to tell you guys what I think is the best Christmas horror movie ever made, and that has to go to Black Christmas, in my opinion. This is just a really good slasher and horror movie in general, and this movie actually predates Halloween, and I would say it's more along the lines of almost like an Italian giallo slasher movie from the mid-70s than it is the Halloween Friday the 13th style of slasher movie. But either way, it's, you know, it's your classic example of a slasher movie, and I just think this is a great movie. It's got a really good story. It's actually directed by Bob Clark, who also directed The Christmas Story. So I've always just thought that was just a weird fact, but he used to direct a lot of horror movies actually before he went into doing other movies like family movies or whatever he went on to. But I'll get to The Christmas Story later in this video. But yeah, I love everything about this movie. I just think it's a really effective and well done slasher movie. It doesn't give you too much about the serial killer, which newer slasher movies do that too often, where they give you the whole backstory of the serial killer, like the Halloween remake and stuff like that. And I don't think that's needed. I think almost in a slasher movie like this, the killer is better when it is more mysterious, you know. But some movies, it's, you know, I don't know, it's hard to explain. But this, I just think, is great, really good, classic Christmas horror movie, the best I think around. I've never really seen a Christmas horror movie that did this good of a job of being a scary movie. This is like a legitly suspenseful, it's a scary movie, and I watch horror movies all the time. And when I watched this a couple weeks ago, I was on the edge of my seat a couple times, and you know that the movie has done its job well when you know, when it's like that. So, you know, it's really good. And now it's time to hear what Santa's rating is on this movie. Really, Santa, only 3 out of 5 stars for Black Christmas. That's surprising. But next up, I was actually going to talk about what I think is the best Santa horror, like Christmas horror movie with a Santa killer in it, because this seems to be almost a subgenre of itself, even though I've not really seen too many good ones. But out of all the horror movies that have a Santa killer in it, I would have to go with the original classic Silent Night, Deadly Night, which I also think is a really good 80s slasher movie. The first one is a very dark movie. It's mostly just really unsettling throughout the whole movie. The main character, from the time he's a little kid, he's just bad event after bad event. First, the movie starts out where his family gets murdered in front of him, and then he goes to this school, like with nuns and everything, whatever, like a Catholic school or whatever it is. And he gets, you know, mistreated by the head nun, which I forgot her name, sadly, right now. But she's actually one of the, I think she's the main villain in this movie, because she's just such a mean person. and this just keeps adding to the main character's insanity. And by the time you actually see him in the Santa suit killing people, it's, you kind of understand what this character has gone through, and you don't really blame him for going crazy and murdering everybody. So this is actually a slasher movie where you do get to see the backstory of the serial killer, but it's done well, and it didn't affect the movie. It didn't make the movie less of an effective movie for that reason. So it did a good job, in my opinion, with that. And I've always liked this. I've actually, the sequel to this, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, which is the only sequel I've seen from this series, because I know there's probably I think 5 of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. And part 2 has actually grown on me over the years. I remember last year when I was doing this video, I kind of talked a lot of shit about it, because it's, it had the whole garbage day thing. It was a big internet craze for a while. It's just a really funny clip. And the movie is as cheeseball as you can get, but it's up the same alley as a Full Moon movie. So if you enjoy movies like that, I think you really would enjoy Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. And since the first Silent Night, Deadly Night movie is so dark, and there's not really any happy moments at all. Like in the Friday the 13th films, you get scenes where the campers are hanging out and joking around and, just goofing, and, just scenes that are lighter in tone. But in Silent Night, Deadly Night, there's really no scenes that are lighter in tone, except maybe the scenes when he's working at the store right before they give him the job to wear the Santa suit. So, just a really dark movie. And when I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, it's actually nice to have something that wasn't as grim of a movie. It's a little bit more of a cheeseball horror movie, so it was a little easier to watch, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But both films I think are good, and Silent Night, Deadly Night, the original, is a lot better than the second one. But I would actually say the second one is an enjoyable sequel if you can sit through the fact that the first 40 minutes or so of the movie is just a recap of the last movie. Other than that, it's actually a pretty fun, cheesy horror movie. And so now it's time to see what Santa says about Silent Night, Deadly Night. 5 out of 5 stars for Silent Night, Deadly Night. That's interesting. I wonder why. Hey, where did Santa go? I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to do the rest of the review without him for now until he decides to come back. But next, I was gonna actually talk about my all-time favorite Christmas movie ever. And this movie, Christmas would not be Christmas without this movie, in my opinion. And this is The Christmas Story. And this movie has gained a huge cult following recently. I remember when I was a lot younger into this movie, I didn't really hear too many people talk about it. And I remember I would bring it up at school, and not too many people had heard of it. But now it's you could buy shirts, you can get the leg lamp stuff everywhere, you can get blankets, Christmas lights. They just love marketing this movie now, especially around the holiday times, which I like because this movie is such a good Christmas movie, in my opinion, that it's good to see it's finally getting the recognition it deserves. But this is just, in my opinion, all around classic. Just, I love the whole tone of this movie, the main character Ralphie. I've always felt like I can connect with, and just the whole idea about this movie being him just really wanting to get that one Christmas present. And it just reminds me of when I was a little kid, and how at that time what you were getting for Christmas really was the most important thing in your life, and your whole life, your whole year revolved around Christmas, which is one of the quotes from this movie. And that's really what it was like when I was a little kid. I just remember always looking forward to Christmas time, and always looking forward to watching this movie around Christmas time too. Ever since I was really young, this has been a tradition at my house to watch this every Christmas Eve night. And since they run the marathon now, it's extremely easy to do that. But I usually watch it on my own anyways. I'll usually repeat the movie 4 or 5 times in a row on my DVD player on Christmas Eve night, just because I love this movie so much. And Christmas Eve, I can't. Christmas Eve, again, wouldn't be Christmas Eve without watching The Christmas Story. So this movie just really means a lot to me. and it has a lot to do with my celebration that I do every year at Christmas. I really always just really look forward to watching this movie. And if I had to rate this movie, since Santa's not here anymore, I would definitely give this 5 out of 5 stars. Other than being a great Christmas movie, it's just an all around really good family film. Just it's fun. It doesn't take its audience. It doesn't like treat its audience like you're an idiot. It actually has some really legitly funny jokes in this movie, and everything about it, from the narration to just the style, the look of the film, it's just great. Just one of my favorite movies of all time, actually. Christmas Story. I'm actually hoping to upgrade to the 2 disc of this year, so I'm gonna probably be on the hunt for that this weekend. But other than that, next up is gonna be my favorite like cheesier Christmas movie, because there's a lot of different types of Christmas movies, and when it comes to that, my favorite like this is actually my favorite Christmas movie from when I was a really little kid, and it's Jingle All The Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this came out in '96, so I was like 5 years old at the time, and you know the main character in this movie is really into the Turbo Man stuff, and it just reminds me of Power Rangers, because at the time this movie came out, I was obsessed with Power Rangers, and that's probably what I wanted to get for Christmas. So again, this movie reminds me of wanting to get something for Christmas when I was younger, and that is an extremely nostalgic memory, like for me, to think about when I was younger and just looking forward to getting cool stuff for Christmas. So, and I actually think this is a legitly funny movie. I mean, obviously it's not the funniest, most clever comedy I've ever seen in my life, but Arnold Schwarzenegger does a good job in this. I think he's an underrated actor. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he does his thing, but every movie I've seen with him in it, I think he does a good job. I've really never seen a movie where he did a bad performance. I mean, sometimes his performances are kind of just Arnold Schwarzenegger. You don't get too much of a variety. But in this movie, I think he does a good job, even though he plays a dad who neglects his kids and his wife, basically forgets to buy them presents, and he has to rush out on Christmas Eve and try to get his kid this toy, the Turbo Man doll, which at this time of the year is sold out. And so the movie is basically about him on the hunt to get this toy, and Sinbad's character is like a mailman. You can see him right there behind Arnold. He's also on the hunt for this toy, so it's kind of them. They keep running into each other, and funny little gags happen. And I actually think this is just a all-around good movie in my opinion. Like I said, not one of the best, but I would definitely recommend watching this around the holiday time. And Phil Hartman is in this movie, and his character is probably my favorite character in the movie. Just hilarious. He plays this like single dad who like he basically does everything he can to be the perfect dad, but there's a lot of like side hints and like side jokes about how he sleeps with a lot of the women around him, like in the area that he lives in. So I just think that's funny. That's definitely wasn't for kids. That was like a more like adult joke they snuck in. But again, that's why I think this is a decent movie, because back when I was a kid, I didn't even notice stuff like that. Now watching it, I do. So just Jingle All The Way. Not much more I can say about it, but if I had to rate this movie, I would definitely give it probably a 3 out of 5 stars. And I do think that's kind of high for a movie like this, but it has a lot of nostalgic value to me. And then last in this video, I was going to talk about what I think are some of my favorite Christmas specials ever, and these I think are some of the best. And my all-time favorite Christmas special is a Garfield Christmas, and I just think everything about this is really cool. It's the story revolves around Garfield and John, his owner, going to his mother's house for like Christmas, to celebrate Christmas with his brothers and everything. And that part of the movie I think is really nice too, just to kind of see a family get together and have a good time and all that. And they're goofing around, they don't get along too good and all that. And John's grandma's there too, who Garfield really likes. They really get along good, and it's just a very heartwarming and I think well written Christmas story. Christmas special. I don't want to give anything away. I figure it's worth checking out if you haven't seen this. But I really love this special, and when it comes to Christmas specials, this has to be my favorite. And I watch this every year. It's a tradition of mine to watch this every year. I also have it on DVD, but I love the tape of this. It's actually kind of hard to find the tape, but and just everything about this. I've always really loved Garfield ever since I was a little kid. I used to make comic books, and I also used to make animations when I was in high school. And Garfield was a big inspiration for me at the time for my artwork and the type of humor that I put into the comics and everything. So I've always just been a big Garfield fan. So, that's basically probably why this is my favorite, why I like it over the Peanuts Snoopy Christmas special. And then my second favorite Christmas special has to be Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And again, this is just a great special. The animation is great, the songs are great, the story is great. Dr. Seuss is he really is a great children's book writer. There's not too many people that that compare to him, and his drawings are great too. If you look at some of his drawings that aren't from his children's books, they're also really good. He's just a great artist, and this cartoon just has all the qualities of a great Christmas special, just everything about it. And the Grinch is one of those characters that that really grows on you, and you love to hate him and everything. He's just an interesting Christmas character. Just that, Scrooge type character, anti-Christmas, but of course by the end of the movie he realizes the true meaning of Christmas, which isn't that really what Christmas is all about? So just classic greatness here. And then last, I just figured I would show one more special, which is the Charlie Brown Christmas special. And this is one of those things that you have to watch every Christmas. It's just classic. I've been probably watching this ever since I was 1 year old. This is just a really good Christmas special. Again, great songs. I love the animation, even though it's not the best animation, but it really works for this style. It just it's just so much more appealing to me than that computer generated animation that they use in everything now. And this is just of course the classic story with Charlie Brown and his tree and all that. Just another really heartwarming, well written Christmas story. And I love everything about this. This DVD actually comes with the other special. It's Christmas Time Again, Charlie Brown. So I'm actually definitely going to be watching both of these again soon for my Christmas marathon that I'll be starting the next couple days. I'm just going to watch non-stop Christmas related stuff soon. So, looking forward to that. But that was this year's Christmas special, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and definitely leave a comment or give it a thumbs up if you did, and thanks for watching.
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
Bomb a bomb a bomb a bomb bomb a bomb a bomb for dang a dang dang for ding a dong ding blue moon moon blue moon dip 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 moon 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 blue moon dip 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 moon 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 blue moon dip 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 bomb a bomb a bomb a bomb bomb a bomb a bomb for dang a dang dang for ding a dong.
Okay guys, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for all the support and subscribers and everything, and I hope everybody has a great Christmas and a happy holidays. See you guys.